Hi and welcome back. My name is Luz, and in this video I am going to share with you the 7 reasons why people are moving to Richmond, Virginia. You may want to stick around for that numero uno so you can see why people are moving here. Now, Richmond, Virginia is affectionately known as RVA, and it does not only include the city of Richmond, Virginia per se. That's only kind of like a small part of the whole area. When we talk about RVA, we're talking about the surrounding cities such as, well, Richmond and the surrounding cities such as Chesterfield, Henrico, Powhatan. All those areas actually are included with Richmond. The Richmond city itself, you're looking at about 230,000 people. When we say the Richmond, Virginia area, we're looking at about 1.3 million people. So you're kind of very big difference, and we are seeing more people coming into this area, particularly more for jobs and the cost of living. Here in the Richmond, Virginia area, we are still, in the lower prices as far as homes are concerned. You can find a very good affordable home. Median prices here are about $355,000 to $360,000. In comparison to Northern Virginia, it is definitely affordable to live here. And so let's talk about those 7 reasons. Number seven is the river. The James River is obviously the big river here in Richmond, Virginia. The city surrounds it, and everything is pretty much based around the James River. You can go to different eatery areas and kind of bask on, look at the river. It's not the prettiest river, obviously. We're still in the East Coast and in the Northeast, and the more north you go, the more muddy the rivers are. However, it is beautiful to kind of just be by the river. We have a lot of areas here that particularly I like to go visit with my family, Pony Pasture being one of them. Sometimes we just like to go and in the afternoons just sit by the stairs and enjoy the sunset by the river. You can find places to eat there by the river. You can go take a walk by the river. We have downtown the Canal Walk, where the river was part of the history here in Richmond, Virginia, as far as carrying goods and all of that stuff. So the river, it serves its purpose, and it's also a very good, there's houses that are built by the river to kind of enjoy, by the water. And so the river is a very integral part of living here in Richmond, Virginia, because it is everywhere. You kind of have to take a bridge pretty much everywhere you go. At least not tunnels like the Tidewater area, but bridges and very nice scenery. The number 6 reason why people are moving here is those neighborhoods by the river. We're talking about neighborhoods like Church Hill, where famous Patrick Henry said his give me liberty or give me death. The church by there, there's a lot of history here in Richmond, Virginia. So Church Hill being one of those, Shackle Bottom being another neighborhood. They don't call it Shackle Bottom for nothing. Just know that is a little bit under sea level. So if it ever gets, really rainy or about to flood, that's not the place to be. However, it has some nice areas there also to not only to eat, but to enjoy in those areas. So moving on to the number 5 reason why people, like this area, is the breweries and microbreweries. We're seeing a lot of those coming up here in this area. Richmond, Virginia is kind of like up and booming in that aspect. I personally don't drink, but I know that that's one of the reasons why people are kind of like flocking over here. As far as I actually was just talking to another agent not too long ago who mentioned to me, she's actually Northern Virginia, and she was telling me that she sometimes comes down here to go to the breweries here in Richmond, Virginia. So definitely one of those things where that's attracting people to move in this area. So let's move to the number 4 reason. This is my favorite reason. So I'm going to talk a little bit more about this. And you know, it's like they say, location, location, location. And so Richmond, Virginia is kind of, I mean, we are Central Virginia. However, we are pretty much in the center of everything. You know, if you want to go to the mountains, you're about an hour and a half away. If you want to go to the beach, to Virginia Beach, you're about an hour and a half, an hour 45 minutes away. You want to go up to DC, you know, you're about 2 hours on a good day, maybe 2.5, you know, with a little bit of traffic. You want to, you know, we're about 30 minutes from King's Dominion Amusement Park, about an hour from Williamsburg, and Busch Gardens, Water Country, and Colonial Williamsburg. Very nice areas to visit. I mean, you could take a lot of day trips living here in Richmond, Virginia, and enjoy without having to stay. We have Great Wolf Lodge also in Williamsburg, really great place to go visit, and especially take the family. You know, they have an indoor water park there, and you know, and then not only that, but you know, here in Richmond, you know, you have other places like, you know, you have the zoo. Everywhere you drive pretty much in Richmond, Virginia, it's going to take you about 20 minutes. And I really mean like pretty much anywhere you go, it's going to be about 20 minutes. You know, they definitely built it nicely, so you know, you're not really stuck in traffic. There isn't a lot of traffic here, except your, you know, regular morning traffic, your crash, you know, accident traffic, and your afternoon traffic. That you'll get that little bit of traffic when you're, you know, coming into work or probably leaving work. Apart from that, for the most part, like I said, unless there is an accident or, you know, a really good reason, you don't have much traffic in this area. So it's a really good location. Like I said, we like to travel a lot to the Tidewater area, and the good thing is like you don't have to take the same route to go there. Sometimes we take, like we call the back way to go to the beach, instead of just going down 64, because sometimes it's, you know, it's less traffic once again, or it's just a nicer scenery. I mean, if you're a speed demon, I necessarily wouldn't recommend it because you might get stopped by a cop in one of those speed traps. But you shouldn't be speeding anyways. But it's a really nice area to go, and like I said, a really nice. We talk also about downtown. Like I said, you have the Capitol Bike Trail there. You can, you know, like I said, go on some day trips and come back the same day and enjoy it. That location of being here in Richmond, and back to part of the reason I moved here was because of the location. My parents live in Martinsville, Virginia. And so at the time, my sisters were in Pennsylvania, and my brothers are in Florida. And so Richmond kind of put me in a great position, and it was a great location because I could jump on 95 south and just go straight down to Florida. I don't have to take any back roads first to then get on 95, just jump right on it. I could jump on 295 and go up north to my sister, or I was 3 hours away taking 360 straight down to my parents. So, you know, it was a very convenient location for me to be in. So location is one of the biggest reasons why we're seeing a lot of people coming here, and even from Northern Virginia. Like I said, because the prices of our homes here are much lower, you know, you can still go to work, you know, maybe in an hour's time. There's a lot of people who commute, who, you know, do van pooling and commute back and forth. We also have Petersburg, which is about 30 minutes down the road, and we have a lot of people who commute to work here in Richmond from Petersburg as well. So that is one of the reasons. That is the number 4 reason why we're having, a lot of movement here in the Richmond, Virginia area. So that leads me to number 3, and that's the culture. You can see the culture here downtown, in the art. You can see it in the history. It's such a beautiful blend of both history and modern, or historical and modern culture. Like I said, when you go to the restaurants, you can see it. We have a mix of cultures here in the RVA area, which kind of is going to be my next point. But before I get to that, and then finish this one on the culture, is that, we definitely have a nice culture here. You can be kind of like relaxed, but at the same time have a little bit like upbeat. A lot of festivals, a lot of music. We have a pretty heavy, theatrical presence here as well. You don't have to necessarily have to go to Broadway to see a show. We have the Altria Theater for that. We also actually have the Children's Theater downtown too. So we have the Richmond Coliseum and a lot of places where a lot of events take place. So there's always something going on in the RVA that you can go to see. There's always something going on that you can be part of. And so that kind of speaks to the culture here. And as I said in previous videos, a lot of this stuff is free. It's not even like you have to pay for it. Of course, some you do, but a lot of stuff you don't. And so, just having that mix of culture here is a very, nice to have that little culture. And talking about culture, let's talk a little bit about these cultures and how they bring a lot of food to the Richmond, Virginia area. So number 2, Richmond is like the foodie capital of the Atlantic. I mean, whatever you're thinking that you want to eat, whether it is Hispanic, whether it is Mediterranean, whether it is Asian, you name it, you can find it here in the Richmond, Virginia area. There is a lot of food areas surrounding, from simple food trucks to, fine dining. I particularly like going to the Jefferson Hotel. They have a restaurant there. I believe it's called the Mears, and it's really nice. And I'll go there for our anniversary. And so, they have fine dining. They also have very, like I said, simple. I'm also Puerto Rican. Sometimes I go visit down to the bodega down in downtown. Really good food there too. A little mix of Puerto Rican with a little bit of other Hispanic cultures. So that's pretty good. If you travel further down a little bit to Petersburg, then you'll find a Puerto Rican restaurant there. But anyways, back to Richmond in this area. Like I said, you go downtown, you find different eateries that have really, really good food. And so if you're a foodie, Richmond is definitely, the place you want to come and visit, or you want to come and be, because you're going to have it all here. There's many times that I'm having conversations with my friends and they're like, oh, did you go to such and such place? Or, try this place and try that place. Not only from just, food itself, but even desserts, and bakeries, we have it all here in Richmond, Virginia. And so now to number 1, and I kind of mentioned this before when I was talking earlier, but the number 1 reason, like I said, it's because it is easy to get to anywhere. About 20 minutes time frame from anywhere in the Richmond, Virginia area. Really, if you're going from Chesterfield to Glen Allen, it's going to take you about 20-25 minutes. If you're, going from Chesterfield to the city, it's going to be about 20 minutes, or anywhere, and then the fact that you're not going to catch much traffic. You can take various different routes to go to the same location, and it's going to take you about the same time, which is cool, because you often think like, you know, you're going to take a different route and you're going to take longer. However, here, you know, you take a different route, you're about to take the same time that you're going to take whether you took that original route or you take the other route. You know, we do have tolls here, so sometimes taking the toll will save you like 2-3 minutes, you know, and you're like, okay, the 70 cents is worth it. Sometimes it's not. And sometimes it's, you know, it's okay to drive those extra 2 minutes. It just really depends how fast you want to get there, right? But you're looking at about a drive time. You're not going to catch much traffic. Like I said before, here, you know, they kind of build it nice to where, you know, the most traffic you're going to find is maybe in the morning, maybe in the afternoon, and if you have any incidents. Apart from that, you know, you can get to anywhere without having really to worry about, oh, I got to get on the road and fight all this traffic to get there. So the number one reason why we're having people move here is because it is easy to get to places here in the Richmond, Virginia area. I kind of mentioned this earlier, but you know, you're not going to catch much traffic around here. You can take different routes to go different locations. And the cool thing about that is that it's going to take you about the same time. You know, you would think that if you're taking an alternative route, sometimes it's going to be longer. And that may be true in some instances. And when we're talking about longer, we're talking about maybe 2-3 minutes longer, not 10 to 15 minutes longer. And so relatively, you know, you can get to point A and point B in about 20 minutes. You know, drive time anywhere in Richmond, Virginia. It's going to be about 20 minutes, unless, of course, you're in traffic. Like this morning, I was driving from Midlothian to take my kids to school down in by Patterson and almost by Goochland, which usually is a 17-minute drive. But there was an accident, and it took me a long time to get there. Almost got them there late. However, those instances really don't happen. You know, we jump right on 288 and I'm straight there. Hardly ever get, you know, much traffic. Some once in a while, like I said, morning traffic, afternoon traffic, you may catch a little bit here and there, especially by the bridges area. However, you know, for the most part, you're not. You know, you're pretty flexible as far as going from point A to point B, you know, and time it right and not have to time it the extra time that it's going to take you to do the, you know, to hit traffic. You know, for the most part, we don't have that much congestion here in the Richmond, Virginia area. So that is one of the good things, that it's really nice to, you know, get everywhere. You're not fighting too much, you know, to get there. So that's number one reason why it is really nice to live here in the Richmond, Virginia. I am actually, before I came to Richmond, Virginia, I was living in the Tidewater area, and you know, everywhere there you got to take a tunnel, and there's traffic pretty much all the time. I mean, you know, there may be like 1 or 2 hours in between that you may, you know, obviously in the evening, but that you may bypass traffic. But you know, usually you're going to be in traffic a whole lot longer in that area. They've gotten a little bit better, but it's still, you know, you got to make time to deal with the traffic down there. So this right here is nice for us because I particularly hate traffic. This, like I said, this morning I was stuck in it and I was not happy. So this area really works for me as well because I, you know, like I said, special circumstances. However, for the most part, you're not stuck in traffic too much unless you're coming in those integral parts or there's something going on. So these are the 7 reasons why people are moving to Richmond, Virginia. I hope this video was helpful for you. And don't forget to like and subscribe so that you can see more videos like this one talking about Richmond, Virginia. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you later. Bye.